If you've ever lost 20, 30, maybe even 50 pounds only to gain it all back, you're not alone, and this video is for you. See, 95% of people who lose weight regain it all back within 1 to 3 years, unfortunately, not because they fall off track or lose some sort of motivation, but because the way they lost the weight actually set them up to fail. So in this video, I'm going to actually show you why that happens and what to do instead to make sure that your results actually last, okay? So also, be sure to stick around because at the end, I'm going to send you my fat loss formula calculator so you can know exactly how much to eat for safe and permanent fat loss and for your maintenance calories without having to guess or go on another rigid diet or meal plan ever again. So if you're new to the channel, welcome here. If you're coming back, welcome back. My name is Lance Carone, and I help busy professionals and entrepreneurs over 35 achieve permanent fitness transformations, but without the crash diets, torturous workout sessions, food avoidance, or expensive appetite suppressing injections. Since 2005, literally 20 years now, I have helped hundreds upon hundreds of food loving clients to build strong, lean bodies and regain confidence and energy while actually enjoying the process. Now, I realize that sounds too good to be true, but this is literally what I have done for myself. So many different people. So if you are somebody who enjoys food and you always feel like you lose weight only to regain it later, definitely stick around for this. I've got some things that are going to help you. So if you always regain the weight after dieting, you need to know that it's not your fault though. The problem is that most diets are only going to teach you how to lose the weight in these rigid, unsustainable ways. And they never actually teach you how to lose the weight and actually maintain it thereafter without any of these food avoiding, carb cutting, tedious, rigid manners. So it means that the second you stop eating low calories or cutting out your carbs or following some strict plan, what happens? The weight starts creeping back up, right? Does that sound familiar? Well, for me, this is what I did for a long, long time where I was constantly chasing pounds. I would want to try and build muscle, and then I would feel too fat because I didn't really know how to put it on the right way with calories in. And unfortunately, it would constantly lead to weight regain, weight loss, weight gain, weight loss. It was back and forth and back and forth. So right now, you're probably trying to get back on track by doing the same things that have helped you to lose weight before. So maybe for you, that's cutting calories, even lower because you think that your metabolism is broken or the diet stopped working or, something's wrong with you or something to that effect. You might be even trying to add more cardio in to burn it off because you're used to just jumping on cardio machines or going for these long runs and you notice that the weight used to come off, but it's not anymore. Or maybe you're going back to strict eating and food avoidance, or maybe even fat burners because it's the only way that you've ever seen results. And of course, at first it works, but the second that you stop doing these things, which is pretty much everybody, the weight comes back. Now, the question is, why is this not working when it used to work? Well, what you need to know is that your body is actually fighting you back, all right? So here's what's actually happening. Your metabolism adapts to whatever you give it. It's called a downregulation. It's known as adaptive thermogenesis. If you crash your diet, if you crash diet, your body is going to burn fewer calories to conserve that energy and to survive, okay? Now, you never actually learn how to eat for maintenance or even how to do a safe calorie deficit. And that's another thing that's keeping you from getting the results you want. You only learn how to cut calories by a lot or crash diet and avoid foods that are deemed as bad or unhealthy, okay? Now, the third thing is that your hunger hormones, of course, after you're dieting for a bit, they go through the roof. And that's another big thing. So after months of restriction, your body is going to push you to eat more. And it does this, it even expands your fat cells so that there's more room to uptake new additional calories and to store that, all right? Even if you don't realize it. Now, again, there's a lot of controversy on the internet right now with I'll be honest, a lot of fake gurus and a lot of people who basically just learned through social media. And they're going to say, wrong, there is no starvation mode, wrong, there is no fat storage mode. Look, here's the thing, we can call it whatever you want to, but the down regulation of your metabolism absolutely slows your body from losing body fat. So we can call it whatever we want to, but this is science. And I've done this for years with clients, which is why we use something called the reverse diet. The point is that whatever you want to call it, your body will downregulate when you're dieting or slashing your calories, okay? This is why willpower does not work. Your body is wired to regain the weight if you don't set yourself up for long-term success. It's going to increase your hunger hormones like ghrelin. It's going to increase cortisol, decrease hormones like leptin, so you're not burning as much fat. All of these things happen when you do the conventional diet thing. So the fix is there's 3 simple steps to keep the weight off for good. If you want to lose the fat and actually keep it off, you've got to stop dieting like someone who's always trying to lose weight and start eating more like a healthy fitness coach, like someone who's already fit, okay? Now, the reason I say healthy fitness coach is because I used to work with a lot of trainers, coaches, colleagues, you name it, nutritionists, who they would just avoid cereal, avoid bread, avoid this food and that food. Oh, Lance, you're having a cookie? How? Oh, you're bad. Oh, you're having, and I'm like, no, you're going to be bad whenever you avoid this cookie. And then it's Saturday night at 2 a.m, you're sitting on the counter crying, eating cookies, going, why do I crave these so much? What is wrong with me? Well, it's because you avoided everything all week, and now your body is like, screw this. I want all the foods that I've been avoiding. Anyway, I digress. So step 1 is you've got to stop eating like a dieter. Dieting is temporary. It's short term. It's not considering the long term. All right. So no more diet food versus normal food. The way you eat to lose fat should be the way that you eat to maintain it. And this is what I do. All right. If you lose weight by starving yourself or going on super low calories, doing low calorie diet shakes or chemicals that sap your appetite, but plan to eat normally later, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because when you want to eat normally later and when you're off the diet or done with weight loss, it means that what you're doing is abnormal. It's not normal. And that means that your brain is constantly focusing on, I'm doing something that is not normal and it's not fun. And yes, it might bring some results, but it's not enjoyable. And I can't wait to go back to normal. Okay. Well, as soon as you go back to normal, if you're doing things the way that everybody else does, your new normal is actually a surplus of calories. And I'll explain that here in a second. Okay. So, if your diet feels temporary, so will your results. So now the thing is that this is where my fat loss formula calculator actually comes in. It's going to tell you exactly how much to eat for safe, sustainable fat loss and maintenance, so you never have to start over ever again, okay? Now, step 2 is that you got to find your real, sustainable, safe calorie deficit, 15 to 20% deficit, and your maintenance calories before you need them. What does that mean? Well, most people only know their fat loss calories, and I would say I should rephrase that. Most people only know that you need a calorie deficit to get into fat loss. They have no clue what a safe, sustainable calorie deficit is, nor do they have any clue what their body actually needs to maintain their weight once they've lost it. This is why the second that you stop dieting, they gain weight or you gain weight without even realizing why, okay? So it's imperative to get back to your maintenance calories once you get the weight off, or your body is going to keep your metabolism down regulated to your diet calories, okay? Which can lead to constantly feeling hungry or deprived and eventually binging. Not to mention, it's going to slow your thyroid. It's going to slow your testosterone production. It's basically going to slow everything down so you're not losing fat the way that your body ought to, okay? So if you don't know your safe calorie deficit or your maintenance calories, you can't transition safely once you've lost weight, if you're even able to lose that weight to begin with, okay? Now, what I will say is that, just as a simple explanation, is when you diet, your body is being down regulated to match those low calories you're taking in. So when you lose body fat and body weight, your body is going to also slow down the metabolism because it has less weight to maintain. All right, does that make sense? So what happens is you end up losing the weight, and now you're miserable because, let's say you're down to 1,400 calories, you want to go back to 2,200, but now the problem is, because you've lost weight and you have downregulated your metabolism, if you go back to normal at around 2,000, 2,200 calories, your body now does not see this as normal anymore. It now sees this as a surplus, meaning it's calories above what your body needs, causing you to gain more body fat, okay? Now, you can learn a little bit more about that in my book, Food, Love, and Fat Loss. I explain a little bit more about that, or I've got trainings on that. If you want to see one of those, start a message with me or comment below, and we'll chat about what those are and how to get around that. But for the sake of the time of video and because I'm talking pretty fast, I'm going to keep moving. Step 3 is you've got to create a system and not just a goal. Okay. Now I'll explain here in just a minute, but most people fail because they set weight loss goals. They're temporary. They don't build a system to maintain the results. Okay. So I'm going to give you two different versions of this. The old way would be, for example, I need to lose 20 pounds in the next 3 months. Well, the problem with that is that you lose the 20 pounds and then you have no other goals, nor do you have habits to maintain that weight when you're done with reaching that goal. Okay, so this is where other people are like, great, I need a new goal. Well, if they haven't considered that new goal, it's like a shock to their mind, where they're like, but I just lost all this weight. Now I have to create a new goal, all because they didn't set up a system. Now, the new way, the system that I teach is a goal system, which is not only going to help you to reach first goal and second goal, it's going to help you to actually get your maintenance and actually get into habits that help you to maintain and sustain your weight loss forever, if I can communicate. Some days the brain just doesn't want to cooperate. All right, so the main thing is that the new way is going to look like this. I'm going to track my food, strength train 3 to 4 times a week, and hit 8 to 10,000 steps a day so that I can lose the 20 pounds that I'm setting a goal for and keep it off for good. Now, what this does is it allows you to have a system that you lose the weight, a system that helps you to keep the weight off, and a system that helps you to set new goals because you're already building a system that you're planning on being permanent, okay? Now, another way of putting this, because I told you I'd give you two ways, is this. The old way is I'm going to save up $2,000 to take my kids to pick a place, let's say to Florida, in November, okay? Maybe it's Disneyland World, whatever's down there. I should know that I lived there for a couple of years. But the point is that you save that $2,000. The new way, the way of the goal system is going to be, I'm going to save $400 a month for the rest of my life so that we can, A, go to Disney World, Disneyland, whatever in November, but B, I will have money every single year to take my kids on a vacation every year. So it's long term and it's consistent rather than just short term and temporary. Okay. So that's the new way. The difference is the first version is a temporary goal. The second version builds habits that keep the weight off, whatever that might be. Okay. So it really does work. I know that sounds simple, but I promise you, when you set up the right system, this goal system is going to help you to not only get the weight off, but to keep it off forever. Okay. Now, why does my solution work over the conventional way? Well, it works because instead of treating I guess the best way to say it is, instead of treating all of your fat loss and weight loss goals, your fitness goals, like a temporary fix, you're actually setting your body up for a long-term success. Like I always call it, a permanent transformation instead of a temporary fat loss makeover or temporary weight loss makeover. That's been one of the most frustrating things for a lot of my clients is before they worked with me, they're like, and I would hear this on the phone, Lance, I have no problem losing weight. I have a problem losing weight in a way that I can keep it off without being miserable. And I notice that it gets harder every time that I go to lose. What's the deal? And that's where I explain all this stuff, okay? So when you're using my system, though, you stop crashing your metabolism with all the extreme deficits. That's the first thing. The second thing is you stop feeling like you have to be perfect forever or even remotely. I don't avoid foods. I don't avoid cereal or chocolate chip cookies. I don't avoid the things that I enjoy, nor do my clients. And because of that, and because of the mathematics that we focus on, you're able to get the result, which is the weight loss, but you're doing it in a way where you're fitting in 20% of your calories to be fun foods. So it's not going to be enough to sabotage your results, but it is enough to give you a little bit of that, let's call it satiation, where you're feeling like, oh, finally, I got a little bit of a cookie. I feel like I'm okay now. Because a lot of people would say to me, like, man, if I could just, once a week or just once or twice, here and there, like when I'm having a craving, grab a cookie without it messing things up or eating 8 cookies, I feel good. I'm like, I know the feeling. When you're avoiding it, you're not going to think that way because all you can think of is like, I'm going to die if I don't have this cookie, or 5, I've been avoiding everything and I'm so good. I've been avoiding all this and I'm so good. And the weight's barely coming off. Okay. Now, again, it's not to say that the weight's always going to barely come off, but it feels that way when you're deprived because you're like, I've given up everything. And for 2 measly pounds a week, Now, 2 measly pounds a week is really good, by the way, but that's what your mind starts playing tricks on you for, okay? So when you actually know how to eat after the weight comes off, you never regain it again. And that's the beautiful thing about this. Yes, it means you've got to commit to things long term. And I know that means that, oh man, I would rather just work out for 90 days or get the weight off 90 days and go back to it. But would you really, if it means that you're miserable and you always regain it, it slows down your metabolism, wrecks your hormones, makes you feel miserable and like you've got no willpower? Really? Really? Yeah, I mean, if that's you, you're on the wrong channel. I can tell you that for sure. Because my clients are in it to get the weight off and keep it off, and they're in it to be able to still go to their kid's birthday party, or to go to a church social event, okay, or to go to a wedding without going like, oh man, do I not eat and then eat later? Do I eat foods that are not good for me and then feel like I've done bad? What do I do? And I've heard that a million times, okay? So this is why my clients lose weight and actually keep it off without cutting out their favorite foods to lose fat and maintain it. And again, without feeling like they're constantly doing the cardio thing or like they're constantly dieting for the rest of their lives. So if you're done like they are with all the yo-yo dieting, the yo-yo weight loss where you lose it and regain it, food avoidance, constantly doing cardio or looking for the perfect workout or meal plan, even considering injecting yourself with harmful chemicals that you're not even really sure long-term what's going to happen, then I've got something for you, okay? This thing is absolutely going to be the best right place to start off with, all right? So if you want to know exactly how much your body needs to lose fat and maintain it, how to get into a safe calorie deficit so you can lose fat without crashing your metabolism, destroying your hormones, feeling miserable, all this stuff again, and regaining all the weight again, I've got you if you're done. If you're not done, I don't know what to tell you. Keep doing what you're doing. If you are done, though, go ahead and drop the word calculator either in my DMs or in the comments below, and I'll send you my fat loss formula calculator. Again, this tool is going to tell you your exact calories for fat loss and for maintenance, all right? So you never regain the weight. It's going to keep you in a safe fat loss deficit so you're not tempted to do 800 or 900 calories and crash everything. It's also going to show you the perfect macro ratio to burn fat while keeping muscle. The more muscle we can keep on you, the faster your metabolism stays. Therefore, number one, you don't look skinny fat after you've lost the weight. Number two, your calories will be higher. Number three, you're going to have a faster metabolism so that the next time that if you need to lose body fat, you're going to have more calories to do it. You're going to feel better, all right? So the other thing it's going to do is to make sure that you never fall into the crash diet or rebound cycle ever again, all right? So if that's you, go ahead and drop the word calculator in the comments or send that to in my DMs, and I will zip you all of that over so you can take a look and you can get started literally in minutes, all right? Hey, if you felt like this was helpful by any means, please be sure to hit the like button and be sure to share this with other people. If you're not subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It really does help to send the message to the algorithm that more people just like you are looking for sustainable fat loss, especially if you're over 35. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to catch me on the next video. Hope you guys have an awesome night. We'll see you on the next one.